What up, squad? We back with another video. As you see, I got Cam with me and not Keith, but you know, this is a family channel. And today we're going to hit on the topic of toxic parenting. Toxic parenting. My fault. So yeah, let's get into it. Right, Bobo? I think I will come up from his neck, but he gonna rock out with mommy for right now. So guys, let's get into this. So when you think of toxic parenting, you think of like abuse and all this other stuff. But it actually goes, alright? It actually goes deeper than just abuse. Like I know people who've dealt with, you know, their parents being, you know, strung out on drugs, their parents just leaving them. But like, I guess it hurt also to know your parent is out there and they're not even putting in the effort to be in your life. And that's kind of where I've been, you know, majority of my life. I feel like I've always fought to have my dad in my life when it should have been vice versa. You know, when you have a kid, they shouldn't have to beg you like, oh, I want to spend time with you, oh, I want to do this. And then you can't get mad at them when the time comes where they're just like, you know what, I'm done begging for your time. I'm done begging for you to love me like you're supposed to. It's definitely an emotional topic for me. I don't really talk about it much for people I don't know, but I feel like if I share my story, some people can relate. Because I knew from the moment I've known about my child coming, I knew I didn't want to be anything like my dad. I didn't want to work myself to death to where though my child didn't feel like he was a priority to me. Like I actually quit my job. Like a lot of people don't know this, but I quit my job because I didn't feel like I was getting enough time with my son. Like I saw him, I went to work from 4 to 12. And then after that, I did Grubhub in the morning from like 8 to 12. And then I came back in the house and I had a couple hours to sleep. Then I'm back at it. He always puts to me like, oh, it's important that you take care of your child financially and all that. But he always forgot about actually being present in your child's life. So let's get into my little, you know, like what I've experienced. So when my dad and my mom had me, they were teenagers. They were 17 to 15. And you know, I don't knock them because you know, you don't know what you're getting into when you're 17 and 15. It's just like, all right, we pregnant, we gotta take care of this kid. But one thing I can say about my mom is she never like bowed out of what came with parenting. I feel like once I like found out the backstory of how they came to be together, how they came to be pregnant, it was just like, bro, why didn't you just, you know, leave me where I'm at instead of putting me through all these years of pain and all these years of feeling like I wasn't enough for you. So when my mom got pregnant, it all came out that he had another girl pregnant, which was his actual girlfriend. And he actually told this girl, like, oh, I'm moving, you gotta get an abortion and all that other stuff, because my family wasn't playing that. They came in and like, yo, you got my sister pregnant, you're gonna take care of her, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And that's something I hate, honestly. Honey, baby. I hate that people force people to be in your child's life. Like, they don't want to be there. Your child's not missing out on nothing. Like, you're doing a favor for your child by not letting them be there. Like, oh, okay, you said you don't want it, cool. And push came to shove, I had my grandma, like his mom. Like, his mom stepped up to the plate. And I feel as though if my grandma was here now, a lot of stuff that transpired had never happened. Like, he would never try it. Hi, Dinka. So going back to that whole thing about him having 2 girls pregnant at once, he kind of had me like, oh, you can't have this baby, da-da-da-da. And my mom wasn't playing that. Like, shout out to you, Tosh. And for the life of me, why my mom even gave me this man's last name. Like, it came to a point in my life where I even changed my last name. Like, I didn't want that last name as mine, because that last name came from his dad. And you know, and I feel like that's where the toxicity transpired, really, of being that absent parent. And like, oh, if I buy you stuff, that's me showing I love you. If I provide for you, that's me showing I love you. And that's kind of his thing. Like, oh, everything I did for you, like, sir, I didn't lay down my mom and had me. You did. So from the age of, not even age of, like, no matter what, you supposed to love your kid, you supposed to show them that you love them. Like, it don't matter how old I get or what I say or how I act. But the thing is, guys, I'm not going to act like I'm innocent, because I have said some things to him, because I've been hurt. I've been holding on to that hurt. I've been holding on to that hatred for so long. But now I have my own child, and I realize, you know what? I don't want to hold that burden anymore. Like, I want to give him a fighting chance to have a parent, like a good parent, non-toxic. I don't want to carry on the mistakes that my father made or his father made. Like, he told me this story one time, and he was like, yeah, you know, one day I sent you in the train station, and I told you to go ask your grandpa for money. And it was like, why would you do that? Like, if this man didn't want to be in your life voluntarily and showed up every day, report card conferences, birthdays, hospital visits, doctor's visits, then he wasn't worth your time. But to this day, I can tell you, my dad is still fighting for his dad's attention. Like, at the end of the day, you know your worth. And you just need to apply pressure to that. So, moving on to, as I'm growing up, you know, I started against, like, more school activities. You know, how they used to have little muffins with moms, donuts with dads. I believe my dad made it to about, like, 1 or 2. Like I told y'all, like, work and women was his priority. Like, his priority wasn't the child. Like, majority of the heavy lifting, my mom took on. Like, I witnessed it with my own eyes. Like, even though our relationship wasn't perfect, I would say it's perfect now. And I thank my mom for raising me the way she did, because I'm getting emotional. Like I told you, it's an emotional kind of video today. Like, even though we went through what we went through, she created the woman I am today in order to be what I need to be for my wife, what I need to be for my son. And I can't give him any credit for that, because it's like, as I was saying, I can't really give him credit for, you know, being the woman I am today, because it's like, going back to school events and stuff, like, you want your parents to add stuff like that. And he kind of felt like money was always, you know, what he needed to get to me. And I'm not gonna lie, like, when I was a kid, like, okay, like, at this point, what else can you do for me but provide. And it's like, you barely provided. Like, you barely provided that safe haven I need. You didn't provide that, you know, that space just to talk to you as my dad. So, you know, that brought up a lot of things. And then once I got to middle school, this was after I lost my grandma. Like, I'm sorry, I'm hopping everywhere. Like I told y'all, it's very emotional. I know I sound repetitive, but it is. So, and my brain is scrambled, because I don't really talk about this part of my life so much, because it carries so much pain with it. Like, I've learned to forgive and let go and, you know, move on, but also revisiting this and talking about it to the public is the first. So, 5th grade, you know, my grandma died. It was something new to me. I never lost somebody who was close to me in that way. And she was really like another parent to me. Like, I don't ever feel like my dad was my parent. Like, I feel like my grandma stepped up to the plate and became my parent, because she knew where her son wasn't capable of. Like, even though you could push him, you could tell him this, you could tell him that, you know they're not ready to be somebody's parent. So, you know, after my grandma died, I went into like this deep depression or whatever, and it actually transpired over to middle school. So after losing somebody so close to me, I encountered another painful, traumatic experience. Which a lot of people don't know, I was molested. And for years, I kept that from my dad, because I was told, you know, don't tell anybody, you know, like, it was a handled situation, but I don't ever feel like it was handled, because when the situation happened, you know, I'm not going to get into like the nitty gritty details, because like I said, like, it's kind of painful and traumatic to go back into that memory. Like, I haven't really talked about what happened with anybody, because it makes me emotional. It makes me vulnerable to a lot of things. What's wrong, puppy? I'm sorry, y'all. He a little fussy. So yeah, I was molested after my girl died. I want to say about a year or so after. And it was someone that, you know, I trusted, picked me up from school. And the thing is, when I told my mom broke down. And it was just like, yo, I don't want to break this to her, but like, I can't go through this. Like, I can't handle this by myself being a kid. But after finding out what happened to this man, like, so my mom told me that, oh, she went there, she was snapping. She actually told me she pulled a gun out on this man. Honestly, I just wanted him to, you know, get locked up. I didn't know what I was in for. But later on, that day, she told me, oh, I just told him to get out. I told him that. And for a long time, I was mad at my mom. I blamed my mom for what happened. Because it was like, you just let this man go and you didn't get him locked up. So for years, I feel like I was in fear for my life. Like, oh, I just told on this man and it's possible that he could just come back and get me and da-da-da. So for years, y'all, I was so mad at my mom because she was like, don't tell your dad because he's not going to understand. He's just going to snap and da-da-da. So, like I said, years go by and I finally told my dad because it's just like, this has a hold on me. Like, I feel like I didn't get justice. I feel like this man is still out here somewhere. Even though years down the line, I was told that somebody had shot him in the head and killed him. I didn't believe it. Like, I needed to see this for myself. I needed peace. I needed to feel safe. And I did. You still tired, puppy? So when I told my dad, it kind of went into a whole thing of, oh, this is your mom's fault, and da-da-da-da. It was never, like, a concern of me, like, are you okay? Like, it never was like, let me turn around and be a father right now. Let me be here for you right now. Now that you let this out and told me, let me be here for you. Instead, he focused his anger towards my mom instead of, you know, just being there for me. And to this day, I don't blame my mom. You know, I forgave her, and my, you know, shit happens. Like, what are you gonna do about it? But it also made me close off to a lot of things because I felt like nobody could, like, provide this safe haven for me. So after that, I'm thinking, you know, my dad's gonna be in my life or whatever. So I come out gay to my family. After going through all this stuff, after being molested, after losing my grandma, after not having a father figure there, I came out that I was gay. And everybody just kind of like, oh, where did we go wrong? You know, you're gonna go to hell. So I was faced with a lot of pressure. And it caused me to act out. I didn't feel like I could be myself or live my truth in my own household, even with the stuff I was going through. So everybody's like, you know, you're gonna go to hell. You gotta answer for your sins. Where did we go wrong with you? And it was just like, I just want to live my truth. I want to be happy. Like, I'm tired of living behind this wall that I had built up because I've been through so much just to be. I think I was 15 when I came out. Just to be 15, I just went through all this traumatic stuff. And everybody's worried about coming this person, instead of, you know, let's protect our child. Let's, you know, create this safe haven for her. They were too worried about coming at each other's neck. Oh, puppy, what's wrong? So, after that whole thing of me coming out to my family, I end up, you know, changing my whole parents, you know, to what I wanted it to be. And everybody had that issue, like, why are you changing how you look? Because I feel like that little girl was damaged. I feel like I was putting on the front just for my family of, oh, I'm wearing this red lip gloss, I'm wearing this. And it's like, in the back of my head, I'm asking myself, did I ask to be molested? Did I ask this? Did I ask that? Just by my appearance, by trying to be something I wasn't? Like, if I came out earlier that, oh, I'm gay, and this is how I want to dress, this is how I want to look, like, would this have happened to me? If I wasn't pressured to be something that I wasn't? I don't know that. But I had to live through it. I had to find my own answers. So, you know, a little after that, my senior prom was coming up. I'm going to go years later. I think I was about 17. And like I said with y'all, I told my dad what happened, and automatically tried to blame my mom. And it was like, listen, I'm not trying to blame anybody, but I need you to know, like, this is what's going on with me. Like, he was so gung-ho on, you know, blaming me, like, you don't reach out to me, and you don't appreciate me. I done so much for you. Why do you treat me like this? And it was just like, what have you done as a father? As a father, you're supposed to be my first love. You're supposed to be, you know, the person who protects me as a father. This is what you're supposed to be. But you're so worried about what my mom's doing and what she did wrong and what she's doing right. But where are you at? Where are you present? Because far as I know, my mom did the best she knew how to do. Like, we had a conversation, like a year or so ago, and like, she apologized. She's like, listen, like, I did what I knew how to do. Oh, Poppy, that hurt. And like, she apologized, and like today, like, my mom is a great mother. Like, don't get me wrong, she's a great mother. But you know, we all have this learning process that we got to go through. So a little after that, I started kind of like getting into my own skin and everything, and I decided to tell my dad how I felt about him being absent like majority of my life, and just coming in was like, oh, well, I got the time to give to you now, so take it. And that resulted in him putting his hands on me. Y'all, when I tell y'all, no man has ever put their hands on me, and no man ever will, except my dad. And when I tell y'all, it wasn't like you getting whooping. Like, he hit me like he would hit somebody he's dating. Like, he backhanded me, metal rings on. I went in the house and like my lip was swollen, and I'm just like, Mom, he hit me. And all she said was like, what did you say to him? And it's like, it don't matter what I said to him. It's the fact that he put his hands on me. Like, I'm supposed to be his daughter. He's supposed to respect me. He's supposed to show me how a man is supposed to respect me. And it wasn't that. And for a long time, I didn't talk to him, because it's like, it wasn't no apology, it wasn't no remorse. It was just like, well, you got smart. Well, you said something smart. Okay, I said something smart. Chastise me, talking like, yo, that's not how you talk to your dad, da da da. But you let yourself get so built up, and you look at me like I'm just some random woman in the street, and you smack me. And it's like, it makes the question, like, did you ever put your hands on any other woman that you were dating? Or like, am I the first woman that you put your hands on, like, as your daughter? So like, I feel like for years I started to like resent my dad. Y'all, I had to take him downstairs. But yeah, like I said, I started to resent my dad. Like, I can't like really put into words how I feel about him. Like, I feel like at this point, I feel like he's a stranger to me. Like, I don't want my son to meet him. I don't want my wife. Like, my wife met him like real quick, and she only met him because he came here like, oh, I want to see you before I leave for North Carolina. I remind y'all, he knew he was moving to North Carolina. And this was, all right, I'm not going to get to that. We're going to get back to that. Let's go back to the whole thing about him putting his hands on me in the garden, because I don't want to hop around too much. But like I said, it's a lot to get out. And I'm sharing this for the first time with the public, so bear with me. So after he put his hands on me, I didn't talk to him for a while. And then, you know, my senior prom came up or whatever. So at this point, I'm out, I'm open, you know, this is who I am, you know, I'm a lesbian, you know, whether you accept it or not, this is who I am. So I decided I wanted to wear a suit for my prom. And I told my dad, like, yeah, I want to wear a suit. And the thing is, what got me was, I feel like all his like reactions or like response are like fake, and they like It's like, oh, I'm gonna just tell her what I want her to hear. And then later on, his true colors come out. So when I told my dad I was gay, it was like, oh, I'm okay with it. Like, he kind of made a little joke, like, so that means you're not gonna be having sex with boys, and I'm like, I guess if you wanna look at it like that, like, and please don't try to, like, connect any pieces of why I'm gay, because I got molested, because that's not the reason why. I just, like, would have, like, the whole molested thing, my dad putting his hands on me, it just turned me off from men more, and it kind of made me not really trust men. But it had nothing to do with, you know, my sexuality or anything. So he kind of put on this whole like fake pump thing of, oh, I accept you, I love you, you're my daughter, until it was time for my senior prom. And I, you know, expressed to him, my mom, like, hey, I want to wear a suit this year. You know, I really want to step into who I am as a person. I really want to come out. Like, I'm tired of wearing the whole lip gloss, the weave, the dresses. And his whole thing was, I'm not paying for it if you wear the suit. But just months ago, you were like, I'm supporting you, you're my daughter, no matter what, da, da, da. And that's kind of what made me let him back in. Because, like I told you, I was vulnerable. And I didn't really have nobody in my corner because everybody was, like, I don't think anybody in my immediate family on my mom's side came out. Because, like, now I have a couple gay cousins who came out, and it's like, I don't really feel as alone. But at that time, I took a stance, and I was really out there alone in my mom's family. My dad's family, it was a couple gay people, so it was like, all right, the fact that he opened up this door for me, it kind of let me trust him a little bit. Of, oh, I'm gonna love you regardless, you're my daughter, I don't care what you like, da da da. So to hear that and then hear I'm not paying for nothing if you're wearing a suit, and it really stemmed from his sister, because I talked to her after, she's like, oh, I'm not, and she said, I'm not gonna pay a thing if you're wearing a suit, you need to wear a dress, and da da. And it kind of made me grow hatred towards them, because it's like you're asking me to be this girl who's broken, who I'm trying to push away and kind of let my new self come out, and like you're forcing me to be something I don't want to be. So I went off, I went to rant, like, y'all don't gotta come, like, I don't need y'all. And it hurt because the day came and it was like they really weren't there. Like, despite what your child says, show up. Like, I'm a kid at me, I'm hurt, my feelings are hurt. But even if you came with a show me that you supported me, like I say, don't come. I'm 17. What do I know? I don't really think I'm acting off of anger. But instead, you let me feel that anger by not showing up. But my aunt Denny came, my cousin Desiree and all them came, and it was like, at least somebody's here. Like, I could feel my grandma here because somebody from her family's here. And like, going back on that, it's like, you can't get that time back. You can't get the time back of him not coming to my high school graduation. You can't get the time back of him not being there for when I had my son. You can't get that time back. So it's just like, it's a lot to digest. So with the whole thing with the prom, he decided that he wasn't gonna come because I was wearing a suit, like I said. So I'm like, all right, cool. So at that point, my mom was married to my stepdad, Reggie. He's been in my life since I was, 5 years old. And I kind of gave him the cold shoulder for years because it was like, I had my own dad. I got my own dad. My dad was never there. My dad never showed up. My stepdad was always the one who showed up. Like, he showed up for my senior prom. He showed up for my graduation. And my dad had a nerve to feel the type of way, like, oh, you on Facebook calling this man your dad? And then it was like, he's the one who's showing up. Like, where are you at? Like, despite anything I did to my stepdad, anything I said to him, he has always been there. And that's when I could truly learn, like, the meaning of a father figure. Like, I was reluctant towards it because it was like, I got my own dad. I don't need you. And I guess that was just me trying to convince myself that my dad was a good dad. But you learn the hardest lessons when you least expect it. I'm sorry, y'all. Just give me a minute. Going back to the whole thing where he went on a rant like, oh, you can't go home to your dad, that hurts my feelings, da, da, da. Like, how do you think I felt when you told me you weren't gonna pay for my stuff because, oh, you're not a boy, you can't wear a suit, da, da, da. So I feel like his whole thing wasn't even genuine when, like, I came out to him. So, you know, going somewhere down the line, I got married. You know, my marriage wasn't planned at all. I met somebody, I fell in love. I felt like she accepted me for me. I was actually my true self. I told her everything about me, literally, within the first 2 weeks of us meeting. Like, we were at Sava's Pizza, and then she from my house, and literally we stayed there for hours just talking. Like, even when they closed, we were like sitting in a little patio area, and we were just talking. I was telling her everything that I'm telling y'all now, and it was just like I felt so free. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I feel free now that I'm letting it out, because it's like I'm tired of hiding behind the lie of, oh, like, he does stuff for me, he does this for me. And this whole toxic parent thing, like, it messes with you later on in life. So once I get married, my dad decides he wants to move to North Carolina. So he met my wife and everything, and once he moved down there, it was all right. We were talking for a little bit. We were trying to rebuild our relationship. I'm like, all right, cool. And then it came to a point where he was like, oh, y'all come live down here with me and his girlfriend, whatever. And the thing is, I was really considering it. Like, I was talking to my wife and everything, and I'm like, we can't go down North Carolina. And by this time, we were down there, and he's like, okay, y'all come live with me, y'all can stay with me, no. And this time, he knows already that my wife is pregnant. He knows already that we're married. We've been married for about, 2 years now. So, again, let my guard down and consider this, like, oh, we can really go down there, we can start a whole new life, and we can give our son, like, a good neighborhood to grow up in, because Philly just, I'm not gonna lie, Philly ain't it, y'all. Come on, like, let's be honest. My nose is red. Philly's not it. Let's just really be honest about it. So I was really considering it, and it was just like, I was scared also. I'm telling my wife, I'm like, I don't want him to turn on me. I don't want him to treat me any different, because he has like this on and off switch. So he want to be a friend, then he want to be a friend because you say something wrong to him or you do something wrong to him. Like, he's real, like, vindictive. So, like, later on, the closer we're getting to having my son, I'm telling him about everything. I'm like, I'm excited because it's like, all right, even though I didn't have a relationship with you growing up, I want my son to have his grandfather in his life. Like, family is big to me. Like, the foundation of family, the bond of family is big to me. Like, to have people in your corner who you can actually count on, who can actually confide in. So I was excited to, you know, share that experience with my dad, like, and give my parents a grandchild. I was like, okay, cool. Like, we can start fresh. Like, you could be there for my son, and from off that, we could build our relationship. Like, that's cool with me. But little did I know, oh, he has this thing that he's having down his house that I feel like been planned. He invited his sister and her kids and a couple other people. And when I tell you, I feel as though he had this plan for months. And he told me, literally, 2 weeks before I'm about to go to Jamaica. Rondra, I paid for my trip to Jamaica and all that already. Me and my wife's about to go because it's like, all right, she's going to have a baby soon. I'm going to give her one last little trip before, you know, we got to be at a standstill for a while because we had a baby. So I explained it to him, it's like, okay, come down, your aunt's coming down, da da da. So I'm like, all right, cool. Once again, y'all, considering how he felt, I told my wife, I'm like, hey, babe, my dad wants us to come down to North Carolina, spend some time with him. I really want y'all to get to know each other. Literally me trying, and I'm just like, hold up. I just paid for a whole trip to Jamaica, flights, all inclusive, all that. I don't have the funds for this. So I told him that, and I'm like, well, it's kind of last minute. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, we got other plans. Like, is there another time we can do this? Da, da, da. Off the back, snapped on me. you don't make time for me, da 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 da. And that's one thing where it led to like the whole toxic parent thing. It's just like, bro, like, you barely made time for me. And I feel like at that moment I let my anger out. It was just like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm sitting here asking you, hey, is there another way we can work this out? Because, you know, this day's not gonna work for me. And you told me last minute, it's not that you were thinking of me before, like, oh, let me tell my daughter that her aunt and all of them are coming down here. You told me last minute you expect me to just jump when you say jump, and it's not that. Because let me give y'all the kicker. I invited him to my son's gender reveal and a baby shower. This man tells me, oh, you gotta pick one for me to come to because I can't make it to both. Remind y'all, they were months apart. Months apart. I think our gender reveal was like in the early spring. Definitely. Our gender reveal was in early spring. And our baby shower was in late July. So he tells me, oh, I can't make it to both. But I see you made it down here for my brother's birthday. First of all, me and my brother don't live in the same state no more. My dad lives in North Carolina. I live in Philadelphia. And I think my little brother lives in Harrisburg. When I tell y'all, I watched this man go all the way down to Harrisburg for my little brother's birthday, stay the whole weekend, whatever. At first, it made me mad, but it's like, you know what? I'm glad that he has that version of a father that I didn't have, who's willing to drive across state, you know, to celebrate something that's important to him, like his birthday. I just feel like he was very manipulative about a lot of things when it came to me. I feel like he looked at me as a woman like I was weak and he could just manipulate me by saying hurtful things to me. So as I told him, like, you know, that's inconvenient, I can't do it. He goes into this whole thing. I'm going to put the screenshots in there for y'all because I can't remember like word for word verbatim. But it was like, don't be stupid and take my advice and don't sign that birth certificate and da 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 da. So I already seen how he was coming about my child. And that was the last straw for me. And that's what made me kind of do a 360 before my son was born, because it was like, I can't be like this man. I can't be that toxic parent who's going to make my child feel like shit. I can't do it. And I would not allow somebody to be around my child who talks down on them like that. Talking about, oh, people close to you say y'all don't got enough money for insemination. She had sex with another man and da da da. And I'm just like, but you were just inviting us down to your house to live with you. So if you think this, you know, bad of my wife, why would you do that? To manipulate me? To say that, oh, I did this for you, I did that for you? I'm cool, bro. Keep it. Because at the end of the day, I got my family. Like, at the end of the day, my son don't need to know who you are. Because his grandfather is Reggie. So, tying into the whole, I just want to give y'all a backstory of the whole toxic parent thing. So, tying it back to the whole toxic parent thing of why I want to be better for my son. It's because my dad's actions. You know, I feel like he didn't take the different road when his dad was toxic or absent father. I feel like he took the same road when it came to his first child. And I feel like some people can't admit that truth to themselves. And that's fine. Like today I forgive him. Today I'm living better without a burden on my shoulder of why doesn't my dad love me? Why does definitely took the same road when it came to like being a father to his first child. And I don't even think my dad was his dad's first child. Like I feel like he had kids before that or whatever. And I'm not gonna lie, I never had any like desire to meet my grandpa because he had no desire to meet me. So it's just like, why would I want somebody in my life who doesn't want to be there? But my dad's the kind of person where he want to force himself into my life. And I'm not about to force myself into your life. You're my parent, you're supposed to love me unconditionally no matter what. No stipulates on like none of that. You're just supposed to love me. I ain't supposed to beg for your time. I ain't supposed to beg you to love me. For all that, I'm cool. So that kind of gave me a whole like new outlook on how I wanted to raise my child. Like even with my mom, like I didn't agree with how my mom punished us, even though I ain't gonna lie, I was doing a lot of stuff. After the whole thing of being molested and losing my grandma, I kind of went down a dark road. Like I was stealing, I was lying, I was deceiving, I was doing a lot. And I can't blame anybody but myself for how I reacted to, my trauma and my pain. Because being a kid, I didn't understand it. Nobody, explained it to me. Nobody helped me get through it. It was just like, you know what? Everything's fine now, and, go on with life. And I feel like as parents, we need to stand up and explain to our kids, like, okay, this is not supposed to happen. Nobody's supposed to touch you, first and foremost. The thing is, growing up, my mom never told me that. Practice never thought she had to worry about it. Like, it's sad, but y'all, wake up. This is stuff we gotta worry about. This is stuff we need to look out for. Talk to your kids about it. Like, I feel like part of being a toxic parent is being in denial that this world is messed up, y'all. Like, we shouldn't be just like, oh, like, I trust people around my kid. Listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't trust nobody around my kid. If it's not the grandparent or the aunts, uncles, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like, it's gonna take me a minute to, like, actually get comfortable leaving my kids somewhere. I probably won't leave my kids somewhere for a while. If it's not his grandparents or his aunts, uncles, he ain't going nowhere. And that's just something I'm gonna have to, learn to kind of release a little bit, because at the end of the day, he still has to be a child. But he's going to be intelligent child. He's going to know, like, listen, this ain't supposed to happen. This ain't supposed to happen. Listen, say something. See something, say something. That's it. So, going on, I also feel like contributing to toxic parenting is telling your kids that their feelings aren't valid. Why is a child's feelings not valid? Because they're young? Because they don't understand their feelings? Help your child understand their feelings. Because I can tell y'all, if my parents kind of went a different road and helped me understand my feelings and actually showed me how to deal with it, I feel like I wouldn't have reacted so bad. But like, they probably didn't know how to deal with that. So I can't really put the blame on them, because it's like, you kind of teach your kid what you were taught. That's how most, old school parents do it. They kind of pass it down, like, oh, listen, my mom taught me this, so I'm going to teach my kid that. But every parenting skill don't work for every kid. Like, every kid is not the same. Like, I feel like you need to be considerate of that. Like, today, I forgive my dad. Today, I'm proud of the parent I am. I'm proud of the wife I am. I'm proud of the woman I am. And I feel like, honestly, if he was in my life more, like, actually not, like, evolving and changing the man that he is, I feel like I would have been worse than what I am. I feel like I'll be emotionally unavailable. Where I feel like for years, I feel like my dad was emotionally unavailable. I feel like he couldn't love me because he didn't really love himself. Like, I feel like after my grandma died, he lost her house, he lost her car. I feel like he went in a deep hole himself. And honestly, one day, I pray that he heals from, his childhood trauma, from, his dad not being there. Because, everybody deserves some peace. But as far as him, like, being in my child life, I don't think that will ever happen. Because I can't risk my child take that risk. I can't allow my child to go through what I went through. Like, the fact that he would say some stuff like, oh, my wife slept with another woman, and don't be stupid and sign a birth certificate. I can't risk him saying something like that to my child. Because I was that. Like, I don't want any harm to come to my child. Any, unintended harm, intended harm. I don't need any of that, honestly. Like, I know I can't be there 24 hours a day, but what I can control, I will. And I don't feel like he's in a place where, though, I can let him be my child, And, like, also, going back to the whole feelings thing, listen to your kids. When they say they feel depressed, they may not know it, but they know how they feel. Like, they definitely know how they feel. Like, I wish somebody would have asked me, am I okay, 100 times when I was in middle school. I wish. Like, and the thing is, when I was in middle school, people found out that I went to a psychiatric home. They didn't know the reason why I tried to take my life, but they knew, where I was at. And only people knew because my cousin told them. And for a long time, I was mad at him, but it was like, you know what, this is my truth. I just gotta stand in it and be honest. Like, and a lot of people are like, oh, like, why did you try to kill yourself? Like, and I feel like a lot of people ask because a lot of people probably felt like that at one point in time. Like they just wanted to take their life, but too scared to say something or too scared to do it. Because it's just like, somebody please give me another way. Somebody please just talk to me. Somebody please just ask me, are you okay? Do you need to talk? Do you need a hug? Anything. Because a lot of parents don't do that. A lot of parents look at loving you as, I put food on the table. I put clothes on your back. That's what you're supposed to do. You had me. I didn't have me. So raising my son, I don't never want him to feel like I'm never in his corner. I don't never want him to feel like that he can't come and talk to me. If my son is depressed, if my son is feeling like he don't ever want to be here, I want to be the first person he talks to. Even my wife or God. Let them know that they have other choices. Let them know that they don't gotta chase after this father or this mother that don't want them. But yeah, y'all, I want to touch on this some more, but for right now, I'm gonna wrap up this video because it's my baby nap time, and he get a little fussy. So we're gonna close this out on a good note. Everybody have a blessed day. If you like this, like, share, comment, subscribe, my fault, and hit that bell button for the post notifications. We definitely will be posting some more. Bubba actually had swimming class on Saturday. He went to his first one. He really liked the water, but he wasn't trying to do no work. You were being lazy, baby. You were being lazy. But yeah, y'all. Break generational curses. Stop the toxic parenting. Love your kid. Acknowledge their feelings. Acknowledge what they're going through. Because at the end of the day, they're still people. They're still human. Just because you had them don't mean you could treat them however you want to. A child is God's most precious gift. And if you don't realize that, and you don't take your kids and love them and respect them and let them know that you're their number one fan or their best friend or you're in their corner no matter what, then what you out here doing? Say peace, baby. They beat, baby. They beat, baby. That time.